Let's now start the section about functions. In these functions, we have one of the easiest part, that is default parameters. Here new section means new starter files. So open the functions folder in VS Code, and so here we see that we already start with the strict mode. Now let's talk about the default parameters. Sometimes it is useful to have functions where some parameters are set by default. This way we do not have to pass them in manually in case we don't want to change the default. So now in this section, we are going to continue with the airline theme. We have started by end of the last section. So let's now create a very basic booking function, and we are going to do that starting with the knowledge that we are had already in the previous lecture. So let's write here const create booking. Here I am giving a normal function, and in this function we need to pass the flight number and then number of passengers and then also price. Now let's simply use the data to create an object and push that into some booking array. So for that, let's write const booking equal flight. We cannot create an object with this flight number. Without having to do this, we simply define a variable and then create a property with this name and also the value. So let's write that flight number, then number of passengers, and also the price. Now let's log this into console.log bookings. Now let's just create an array out here, booking equal, and creating here a empty array, so then we can push each time there is a booking. Now here write the booking dot, I am pushing here, use push booking dot push, and then here give bookings. Now it's time to show you the default parameters in this case, and that is based on what we learned in the short circuiting and how would we implement default parameters. So let's start by calling this function without specifying any parameters. So let's create in calling the function. I'm giving the flight number, that is LH123. You need to place that in string. Now let's see the result. Reload. See here the result of the object is the flight number LH123, what we have given here in this flight number place. And then the number of passengers is undefined and also the price is also undefined because we didn't have specified any of the values here. So we only specified the flight number. Now we can use here short circuiting for this number of passengers and price because we know that these are falsy values. Now here I will show you the oldest way of writing default parameters. Old way. So just remember we used that before ES6. So let's say I wanted to set the number of passengers to 1 by default. So for that we have to write new passenger, that is equal new passenger and or 1. Here I did a mistake that it is not a new passenger. This is number of passengers here also. And now the scenario is if the number of passengers is equal number of passenger, if we have specified any value to the number of passenger, that is true. So for that reason, it will display the number of passenger value. If that is not possible, then it goes to the second operand. So this is the undefined value. That means the falsy value. It will display the number 1. Now let's see the result. Number of passenger is not defined. Number of passengers Let's write the number of passengers. Now let's see the result reload. See here we have the number of passengers is set to 1 because this is a undefined value. That means falsy value. So for that reason we didn't specify any value to this number of passengers. So for that reason it goes to the second operand and the 1 is displayed. Now let's do the same thing for the price also. Price that is equal price, or here in price I'm giving the value of the price. Default value of the price is 99. Now let's see the result. See here it takes the default value and the price is 99 because we didn't specify any price value by calling the function. So it takes the default value, that is the second operand. So this is the oldest way of doing this. Let's place this in comments. And then now here in ES6 there is a better way of declaring the default values. All we have to do is write here number of passengers, that is simply write equal 1. And then here in the price I am giving here the price default value will be 199. So let's see the result. See here we have that the default values, number of passengers is 1 and the price is 199. And then now we can also override these default values. So let's write here create booking and then LH123. This is the flight number, and then I want to give the number of passengers. I'm giving 2. There are 2 number of passengers, and then the price is I'm giving 800. Now let's see the result. Now the values of number of passengers is 2 and then the price is 800. It displayed the actual prices that we are given. And now here the default values can also contain the expression. That means that here I am giving plus 20. And then now see here the result is 219. When it added the 199 plus 20, that is 219. If I am giving 199 into 2, now let's see the result. See here the price is changed to 398. And now we can also say that the price is calculated based on the number of passengers also. So for that let's write number of passengers. Before seeing the result, let's create a booking right again. And then this is the flight number and I need this passengers, number of passengers. So for that I'm giving here 2 and then also I'm giving again. Now I'm giving 5 number of passengers. Let's see the result. See here we have that the number of passengers is 2, then the price is 199 into 2. That should be 398. And now in the second case, the price is 199 into number of passengers is 5. So number of passengers 5, 199 into 5, that is 995. Here the JavaScript specifies these parameters in order. For suppose now here this is the flight number and this is the number of passengers and this is the price. This is the order. Now here we have given that this is the flight number and number of passengers. We don't given here the price. So it doesn't goes to price. It will take only the flight number and number of passengers. And also we have an important thing to remember that you cannot skip arguments here when we call a function. For example, let's say that copy this one, then paste. Now here I am removing the number of passengers, but I want to give the price. So I am giving the price value is 1000. But here in JavaScript, it will calculate the order. So for that reason, here the flight number is LH123 and then the number of passengers now is 1000. It will take the order. But what our intention of giving these values means, this is the flight number and this is the price. We can't do like this. Let's see the result. See here, it takes that the flight number and then number of passengers is 1000. and then the price is this 199 into 1000. So for that reason we can't do like this. And so now if we want to place the number of passengers as a default, simply we can set here, right, undefined. So here setting the parameter to undefined means this is a falsy value. So for that reason it will take the falsy value what we have given. Let's see the result here. The number of passengers is 1. So this is the falsy value. It takes the default value. So this is all about the default parameters. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.